Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamaduchyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, all the Upanishad sessions we are going to have, I'm trying not to take up one Upanishad and do it, but trying to pick up pieces from different Upanishads and deal with them. So that you have an overview of. I can do one Upanishad, no problem. But I think it won't serve the purpose. I think we've been doing that before. So I pick up some parts of the Upanishads, mostly where there's a dialogue, not just statements, and then we look into it. I think that would be a better thing. Any opinions on this? Do you think it's all right? Why is nobody saying anything? Huh? Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. So today, I'm going to take up a story from an Upanishad, which actually is, if you start from the beginning, Upanishad seems very stark and with no emotions whatsoever. And it's one of the ancient Upanishads, one of the principal Upanishads. You know that the principal Upanishads are the 11 Upanishads which have been translated by all the Acharyas and commented upon. Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, most of them. So we are dealing with that. Because all other Upanishads come later. Dates are much later. Including the Yoga Upanishads, which are around 20 or so in number. Now the thing about the Yoga Upanishads is, hello, welcome. The Yoga Upanishads is that any description of yoga, pranayama, yama-niyamas, meditation, dhyana, anything that you find in later day textbooks, including the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, or after that, all the yoga texts of the Nath Sampradaya. Please, you must give credit to the Nath Sampradaya, not because of the administration in UP, but because they are the guys who saved the yoga teachings for us when they were about to be diluted or kind of ignored. Because the pure Vedantins at one time thought that all this is not required. Yoga, this, that. Why? We just say, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. The world is an illusion and Brahman alone is the truth. And add to it, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the Brahman, and so on. And that's all that is sufficient. They thought that if you keep on saying Aham Brahmasmi, you will become the Brahman. So they eliminated the yogic texts which said, do something to get there. Right? The Bhagavad Gita, which is considered to be essence of the Upanishads, and one of the Prasthanatrayas, which means the important curriculum for the student of Vedanta. Now this, at every chapter end, it states the importance of yoga. In fact, all the chapters are called yogas, right? Showing the importance of yoga. And at the end of each chapter, it says that this is the Upanishad, this is the Bhagavad Gita. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So this is the Bhagavad Gita. And Upanishads, so it is the teaching of the Upanishads. And what do the Upanishads teach? Brahma Vidyayam, knowledge of the Supreme Brahman. Then it says Yoga Shastre, Sri Krishna Arjuna Sambhadi. The dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna and Yoga Shastra. So it doesn't leave yoga, the sound of yoga out of the system. But at one point it was kind of going off. And it is to the credit of the great Nath Sampradaya, starting with Machendra Nath, Gorakhnath especially, and then the other Naths, including the Naths who probably don't know anything about the Nath system. They kind of kept it alive. So the major yoga textbooks available to us today, except the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, which was already in existence, texts like the Goraksha Shataka, 1,000 verses of Gorakhnath, Garanda Samhita, teachings on practice of yoga, of course the magnum opus of Gorakhnath, Siddhasiddhanta Padadhi, and various other textbooks which have come from the Nath tradition, including the Yoga Pradipika, which some people call Hatha Yoga Pradipika, by Swatma Rama, who was himself a Nath. So, important, I'm just mentioning this because simply by saying I'm the Brahman, nobody becomes a Brahman, nobody understands it. Second, while it's a good idea to think about it, of course, and also in the same way as if you sit and say, who am I, you don't find out who you are. In fact, it's a psychological problem if you don't know who you are. So, some people have found it. It's not a common factor. Now, then you have there was one great yogi. Somebody gifted me this watch. And in emergencies, if you throw it on somebody, the guy will crack. I don't know. Anyway. So, you know where it could have been gifted, this kind of a heavy thing? In Abu Dhabi. So, what did I say? 1 year. Yeah. Only 1 year, yes. There was a great yogi who wrote, who was what you call an avaduta, a wanderer, so much so that he had discarded even his kaupin, clothes. The great Sadashiva Brahmendra. The great Sadashiva Brahmendra, who came from a very orthodox lineage, whose guru was belonged to the Dashanami Sampradaya of Kanchipuram, Sringeri, and was also the writer of the famous song, Pibare Rama Rasa, drink the rasa of Rama. Incidentally, somebody made Nellika Rasam for me. Very nice. Yesterday or day before. So, Sadashiva Brahmendra he found that it was necessary to bring back the link between yoga and Vedanta, because he was a Vedantin par excellence. So he wrote something called the Yoga Sudhakara. It's a beautiful text. If you get a copy of it, you should read it. Yoga Sudhakara kind of links the teachings of yoga with the teachings of Vedanta. It was necessary at that time. So, what I'm trying to say is that while the Upanishad may look very clinical and lab-oriented, there are other streak of the Upanishad which also says that it is the heart that matters more than the brain. When I say heart, It's not the organ that pumps blood. Heart of the matter, as you say. So, now why did I come to this? Because of the Yoga Upanishads. And the Yoga Upanishads were also pretty old. They are also very old. Mostly they are from the Krishna Yajurveda. And Yajurveda is the second Veda, Rig Veda, Yajurveda. And there are about 22 or so Yoga Upanishads. If you look through the Yoga Upanishads, there are Upanishads like Hamsa Upanishad, Mandala Brahmana Upanishad, and so on. If you go through, you will realize that all the texts that came later, including the Nath texts, even the Yoga Pradipika, they all are reflected already there in the Yoga Upanishads. We don't know exactly who wrote them or who taught them, because the rishis were not very concerned about bylines. They didn't say, I wrote this. So in fact, sometimes they say, Iti Shushrama Purvesham, so said the ancients. They're not fond of seeing their bylines. If I write a book and if I don't see, by Sriyam, I get a little worried. No, they didn't care. No, I don't care, I'm just saying. So anyway, in fact, a good translation of the Yoga Upanishads was not available for a long time until somebody called Upanishad Brahmendra. This is his nickname, I don't know his first name. He translated them into Tamil. He lived near Kanchipuram. His samadhi is there near Kanchipuram, near the Matha. He wrote the, translated into Tamil. Then it got translated into other languages. In fact, the Theosophical Society, Adyar, has a very good English translation of Upanishad Brahmendra's commentary and translation. It's available if you go into Google and check on Theosophical Society, Adyar. Yoga Upanishads translation. Please don't practice anything, you can read it for information. Because Upanishads there themselves say this needs a proper guidance to be practiced. So, but you can get the theory of what. Anyway, so I said the Yoga Upanishads are from the Krishna Yajurveda? Yajurveda. You can't hear? How come? You at the back? So is there some speaker that side going? Better? That's because I moved closer. Okay, so I talk like this. But then I get distracted, when I'm talking, it moves off. What can I? I'll try my best. Yes, sir.
Tilt this a little
Like that. Okay. I'm in your hands. So, now? So you didn't hear anything about the yoga? What to do now? Okay. Use your yogic powers. Then, so what did I say? So I said Yajurveda, right? The next the next Veda is the Samaveda. Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharvana. This is the order. Last one is Atharvana. Now the Samaveda is the third after Yajurveda. But it's a very, very important Veda. One of the reasons is it's only the Samaveda that deals with musical notations and things like that. All the classical music we have in India has its origin in the Samaveda. In fact, the Samaveda cannot be chanted. If you look at the Samaveda, 85% of it is Rigveda. But it's not chanted, it is sung. So nobody says anybody chanted the Samaveda. They always say Samagayanti, that means I sang the Samaveda. It's a root of, and therefore it's a very, very important Upanishad. First, 85% carries all the material from the Rig Veda, the first Veda. Second, it is also tuned to a certain. So when you chant it, then it's not just the words or the meaning of the words, but the sound that takes effect. So anyway, now therefore, Rig, Yajur, Sama, I am going to take up a story which occurs at the end of the Upanishad, which is linked to the Samaveda. Now, as you know, if you have come to other sessions before, the Upanishads come at the end part of the Vedas, each Veda. Every Veda has an Upanishad, not one, many, attached to the end. You came alone this time?
They were going to come.
Why? What happened?
I think he's going to the next one.
Okay.
I think
No, okay. No, I just didn't want you to think that since my head is on the Upanishads, I don't know people. Actually, that's what happens. When the mind expands, you know everyone. So anyway. So, again, what did I say? This is what also happens. Huh? Huh? Samaveda, Samagayanti. Okay. Now, therefore, at the end of the Samaveda is this Upanishad. Like some Upanishads are attached to Rigveda, Yajurveda, mostly not so much Rigveda. What could have been attached to the Rigveda, when I studied it, I found, has been attached to the Samaveda because it is 85% Rigveda. So, this Upanishad comes from, which is why it's called Vedanta. The Upanishad is called Vedanta because Anta means end. So, it is attached to the end of the Samhita portions. Therefore, it's called Vedanta. So, Samaveda has this Upanishad and a couple of others attached to it. And this Upanishad is called the Keno Upanishad. Keno means who. So, the identity crisis is 2000 years old. The rishis asked the question, who? Actually. So, therefore, you know what happens? If you're not sure who you are, then all your problems don't exist because the problems belong to the person you think you are. When you find who you are, there is nothing to ask and nothing to... Anyway, we'll come to that. So, I want to take up... Now, this is why I said, the Keno Upanishad, for instance, it's quite clinical in its... in fact, if you look at it carefully, it's more iconoclastic than J. Krishnamurti. And yet, at the end of it, there's a beautiful story which illustrates exactly what they're trying to talk about and how it is connected to the human mind and emotions, and that it's not merely clinical, or, without emotions. So that's why I wanted to do this for you. Now, the first part of the Keno Upanishad asks very basic and yet very serious questions. Also says that there are no answers can be found to this. This is dangerous. So the Keno Upanishad starts by asking the question, I can't rely too much on my memory, but somewhat. Actually, it's a good thing to come here and find out, because then you don't come prepared and have all kinds of ready-made answers. No, where the head is... Sorry, where is Ken? One second, please, sorry. I know, but the time is precious. So on and so forth. 579. Yeah, got it. So it's from the Samaveda, I already told you. And the word Kena means who. Start with an invocation. Now you see this Upanishad is totally above our heads generally, in the beginning at least. And yet, it's related to the human organism very intimately, because the invocation prayer here, before you do the Upanishad, it's always there with any new Upanishad, is Apayantu Amangani Vak Pranas Chakshu Stotram Matho Balam Indriyani Cha Sarvani. Which means, may my limbs grow vigorous, may my speech grow vigorous, may my breath grow vigorous, may my eye see better, may my ear, as also my strength and all my senses, may they all work at the optimum level. So if you say that the teachings of Upanishad, which is basically Vedanta, is something outside your senses and you're not right, because without having a proper strength of mind and hearing and understanding and also the senses, you cannot comprehend Upanishad. It's not otherworldly, it's this worldly. This is why the Ishavasya Upanishad says, Ishavashyam idam sarvam, here, now, not tomorrow after you die, who knows? May exist, may not exist. What Nachiketa Asiyama, what happens? Maybe one lives, maybe one does not. Please answer the question. So, may my limbs grow vigorous. Apayantum Amangani, Prana, Sakshu, Stotram, Stotram, Athobalam, Indriyani Cha Sarvani. Indriyas are the five senses. Okay. Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranam me astu Anirakaranam me astu. Which means me, all this is the Brahman of the Upanishads. Not me. Inside, outside. Closed doors cannot stop it. Oh, this is the Brahman of the Upanishads. May I not discard the Brahman, which means seeing them as different from Brahman, may I not discard it, the reality. And if I say it's not enough, may Brahman not discard me. Therefore, may there be no mutual discarding each other. Well, I could translate it that way. May there be no discarding of me. Then, Tat Atmani Nirate Yaya Upanishadsu Dharmaste Maishantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is the invocation, which means let those truths which are going to be set forth in the Upanishads live in me, dedicated to the inner self. Om, peace, peace, peace. This is the invocation. Then the Upanishad directly goes into what I said. Very cut and dry, straightforward. Kene sitam patati prasitam manaha, kena prana prathama prayati yuktaha, kene sitam vacham imam vadanti chakshutshotram kaudeva yunakti. Ask the question. What is the origin and directed by what does the mind light on its objects? When you say light, the mind is directed on something, right? Through the eyes, for instance. Now it is directed on you. Now it is directed on you. What is the original prasitam mana? What is the origin, the source which does this job of seeing, perceiving? Who is it that is operating the system? By whom willed and directed? Does the mind light on its objects? And Kena prana prathama prayati yuktaha. What gave the first push to the moment of life at all? You know that from moment of life starting with a little bacteria, but it was the original push that gave life. It is it merely organic chemistry or something else? What is the first movement of life? What is the origin of it? Then, when people utter speech, who directs them to utter speech? Because we utter our speech depending on the language which we learned. Well, the thought that is making you utter the speech is thought. It doesn't have a language. Well, it has in the present circumstances, but originally thought is, if you can understand the concept of thought without a language, then you have found the root of who did it. But it's not possible easily, because the moment I think, I'm thinking in a language. I am. Try thinking in some when you're highly emotional, like fear, anger, jealousy, desire, actually it's a feeling, so there is no language. But then immediately in expression gets translated into a language. So what is the original source which gives this understanding of what is language, what is speech, where does it spring forth from? See, when a child is born, it can make only two sounds, ah or And as it grows up, it develops its language because it's hearing people talking. And then the thought which was originally expressed without a language begins to be expressed in a language. So the question here is, what is the origin of this? And Chakshu Stotram kaudeva yunakti. When I say I hear and when I say I see, who is it that is actually seeing and hearing? Is it the body? Is it the mind? Or is there something else beyond? It's a question. You don't have to conclude. Upanishads don't conclude. They give a lot of value to inconclusiveness. Because once you conclude, you're stuck in a frame, you cannot break through. Right. Then it goes, the second sloka, I'll come to the story. I'm too tempted to do the two slokas. The second sloka is trying to answer, but there is no answer. To this question of who is behind all this, it simply says, Stotrasya Stotram manaso mana yat vachoha vacham sahu pranasya prana. It is the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, the speech of the speech. The breath of the breath, and the wise. Atimuchya dhira. Here the word used for the wise is the courageous ones, the brave ones. It takes a lot of courage to discard. Not easy. So here the word used is not rishi but dhira, the courageous ones. Atimuchya dhira. The wise, the very brave. pratyasma lokat, giving up this world, amrita bhavanti, have reached immortality. It's not actually an explanation. You're asking who, and they're saying it is the eye of the eye and the ear of the ear. What they're trying to say is there is something other than the ear which is behind the ear. Okay, so this is how this Upanishad begins. And I don't want to go through the beginning again, but let me I'm a little tempted. So, the wise who understand this, that it is the ear of the ear and so on and so forth, the brave ones, departing this world, enter, become immortal, become deathless. Okay. And so they again ask the question, so what is this? This is behind the... Again no answer proper. The next sloka says, na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, no mana. And then the Rishi says, na vidmo, na vijanimo, yathaetat anushishyat. This is for those who think that they know so well that they can teach everybody. The Rishi says, I don't know how to put this to you. First, you have to know right to teach. The Rishi who's supposed to have given you the Upanishad says, I do not understand how I can put this to you. Why? Because there, na tatra chakshur gacchati, the eye cannot reach. Na vag gacchati, word cannot reach, words cannot reach. No mana, even the mind cannot reach. Then how am I going to teach this to you? And then complicate it further. In the next sloka, the Rishi says, Anya devatad viditat, atho aviditat adhi. It is other than that which is known at all. But it is also about the unknown. Iti shushruma purvesham yanastat vyaja chakshire. So I have heard the ancients say. Doesn't want to take responsibility. Iti shushruma purvesham yanastat vyaja chakshire. Thus we have heard from the ancients who explained it to us. Now, I'm just going to have one more sloka and then we go to the story. It says, now this is completely iconoclastic, and it is 2000 years old from the ancient Upanishads, which are the earliest spiritual literature we have, at least in our country. Yat vachanabhyutitam yanavagabhyutyate. That which is not expressed through speech, which cannot be expressed through. So why are we talking through speech? But because of which speech is expressed, which gives the capacity for speech to be expressed. Next line. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yad idam upasate. It is worse than Krishnamurti. I'm not worse, better. Having said that which is not expressed through speech, but by which speech is expressed. Tadeva brahmatvam vidvi, O student, please understand, no. Tadeva brahma, that alone is the Brahman, the truth. Nedam yad idam upasate, nothing that you worship here. So what do we do? So we will go to the last story. We'll leave it there. Suspense. This is the section 3 of the same Upanishad. Now, do I do the Sanskrit or only the English? Do we save time? Only English. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We do only English or we do the Sanskrit? Do we save time? No, we don't save time. Or we save. I would like to, but we can go to English only, if possible. Sing? No, don't sing. No singing right now. Well, I have to sing for my supper always. So, section 3 says, sorry, we will do a little bit of that. Brahmaha devebhyo vijigye tasyaha brahmano vijaye devaha amahiyanta ta aikshanta-asmakam evayam vijayo-asmakam evayam mahima iti. What is this translated? Brahman, the Supreme Being, is supposed to have conquered everything of the world for the gods and given it to them. And the gods, glorifying in the conquest of Brahman, not knowing that it is the Brahman that has conquered, not us, said, this victory is indeed ours. This greatness is ours, not the Brahman's. They didn't even mention the Brahman. The gods, meaning the Indra and Vayu and Agni and all these gods. In the beginning, these were the gods. In the Vedic time, you don't see any other god except Agni, Vayu, all the powers of nature, lightning. Indra, of course, the senses, the Panchendriyas. These gods forgot that this world was conquered for them by the Supreme Being and given to them. They thought, we have done it. And they glorified themselves in the victory of having had the whole world in their hands. So, is that a good thing? That's what we all do, right? Like the gods. Food has been given to us, rain has been given to us, fire has been given to us. But we like to think we have done everything. This is the connection between the mind, the psychology, and the philosophy. As long as this doership lasts, one cannot touch the real doer. But the gods were in that position, not only human beings. So then what happened? Of course, the Supreme Brahman knew about the deceit in the hearts of these gods. Tad haisham vijajno tebhyoha pradhur babhuva tanma vyajanata kimmidam yakshamiti. That Brahman knew the conceit and he wanted them to get rid of it and find out the truth. So, the Brahman appeared in the form of an yaksha. Now, yaksha is, the Upanishad commentaries are many. They have been defined, basically everybody agrees that it is not Brahman as he is because then it is unseen. Chakshusha na pashyati, I also cannot reach there. But in some vague form, which can be seen, or which can be, what do you call it? Not even touched, felt better. So the Brahman decided these fellows should be taught a lesson. They think they are the greatest. They think all that has been happened is because of themselves. So let's give them a little test and get rid of this illusion from their minds. So the Brahman appears as an yaksha. Now yaksha is defined in many places as unknown entity. But entity. An undefined entity. Now, the gods saw something far away under the tree, maybe under the tree or behind the bushes. They saw something under the tree. And they Agni Mabruvan, they said to Agni, now you see this, Agni is the most important god from ancient times. Agni is combustion, it is heat, it is fire, it is that, not only physical fire, the fire of desire, the digestive fire, the fire that illumines everything. There were no electric bulbs then, fire, light. Food is cooked in fire. Oblations are given into the fire in a sacrifice. So the fire god Agni is extolled highly in the Vedas. So fire sacrifice, even any other sacrifice, cannot be done without fire to consume what is being offered. And it is the fire which, one fire is enough to light the whole forest, one spark. And it reduces everything to ashes. It's a mighty god Agni. So the other gods gathered together and they told Agni, you are the knower of everything, Jata Vedas, you exist everywhere. Why is this expression used, Jata Vedas, that you know everything and you exist everywhere? Because in ancient times, you didn't have a matchbox. Nowadays, you don't have any value for the fire. It's there. Those days, they had two dry pieces of wood, and one was rubbed on the other for friction. And when the spark fell, then the hay got lit and the fire came. So it's existed everywhere. It needs to be rubbed to bring it out. This is the idea. That it is always there everywhere, but it needs some action to manifest. So, Jata Vedas, the one that exists everywhere and one who knows all the Veda. Veda simply means knowledge. It does not mean Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana. Veda means to know. So they went to Agni and said, hey, you're a powerful guy. Go and find out who this chap is. You see something there, Yaksha, near the trees. Please go find out who is there. He said, Tatheti, okay, I'll do that. Yes. And he went. Tad abhyadravat tam abhyavadat ko shiti. So now he went there and he was about to ask the Yaksha, who are you? The Upanishad starts with who, right? When, before he could ask, the Yaksha asked him, who are you? You see that, no? When you get into a fight, sometimes you get so angry. So who the hell do you think you are? So Yaksha said, who are you? So, not that way. But, So what happened? The Yaksha said, Ko Siti, who are you? Agnirva aham asmi iti abravit, Jata Veda aham asmi iti. I am Jata Vedas, the knower of everything, I exist everywhere, I am the most powerful, I can burn everything down, I can turn everything to ashes at the split of a second. This is who I am, Agni, the Lord. What do you do? What did Yaksha do? Tasmin stvai kim viryam iti. So then the Yaksha asked him, so what is the power in you? What power do you possess? Apidam sarvam dehyam yadidam prithivyamiti. Agni said, I can burn everything, whatever is there on this earth. That is my power. Now what did the Yaksha do? Tasmai trinam nidadho yetadaha iti. He plucked a blade of grass and put it before Agni and said, burn this. Tad upaprayaya sarva javena tanna shashakta dagdhum satatha iva nivavrite naitad ashakam vijanatam yatedam yakshamiti. Agni tried all the tricks in his trade. He was surprised that this little blade of grass that he was asked to burn, he couldn't burn it. He said, I can finish the world off, I can burn everything. But he tried, he went this way, he huffed and puffed. But that little blade of grass could not be burnt. So he was completely confused. He said, who is this? So he returned to the group in the dining hall. And he said, So he came back and he said, Asakam vijnatum yetad yakshamiti. I cannot understand who this being is. So they came together again, huddled together. Next, who should go now? Then they said to air, wind, hurricane, cyclone, the breath of life, air, right? Air goes, you are not existing. It's so important. In Kerala, they say puncture aipui. That means when a human is dead, is punctured. There is no air in that high. Gujarat, they say off ho gaya. Oh. This is the air, so important, prana. And also the whirlwind and the cyclone and the oxygen that we breathe. If we are lucky and it exists after some years. So they told Vayu. Atha Vayum abhruvan. They said, O Vayu, Vayu etad vijanihi kim etad yakshamiti. Go and find out who is this yaksha. How many minutes we have for this session? 9. Why do we always get 9? I don't know. I thought yesterday was 8, right? Good, one step ahead. So, Vayu said, Tatheti, okay, I'll do it. He's also still in his powerful state, Who the hell is this yaksha? Let's find out. So he went. He hastened towards it. Tat abhyadravat. Tam abhyavadat koshiti. Same thing happened. He rushed. And the yaksha asked him, who are you? Vayu replied, Vayur va aham asmiti abravin matarishva aham asmat. Vayu replied, I am Vayu indeed. I am Matarishwan. Then he asked Vayu, Tasmin stoi kim viryam iti. What is your power that is in you? You said you're wise, what do you do? Like once I took a lot of people to meet Dr. Abdul Kalam, who was the President of India, who had retired. So I was doing this walk from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. I don't know, I got some foolish idea into my head. And I was doing it. It was called Manav Ekta Mission. So we took a whole group of people to meet Dr. Kalam to Just tell him that we're doing this. What do you think about it? So we went and I introduced 6 people, and they then introduced themselves. The only question he asked, what do you do? So like this, he asked him, what do you do? I can see you. You seem to be bristling with energy, but what do you do in life? Wrong question to ask youngsters these days. They don't like, what do you do? I do nothing. What do you care? So, not everybody, huh? Please. So, he said, who are you? He said, why? I am Vayu. Okay. What power do you have? Vayu said, Sarvam adhadiyam yadidam prithivyamithi. I can blow off everything, whatever is in this earth. This is what I do. What do you think? He didn't say, what do you think? My addition. Then what did he do? Same action. Tasmai trinam nitatho yetat atatsveti. Same blade of grass which he gave to Agni, put it forth and said, blow this, please. You can blow off the earth, right? Blow this, please. Tat upaprayaya sarva javena tanna shashakadatum. He tried everything, all the tricks that he knew. He couldn't move the blade of grass one bit. Tatha yeva nivabrate, so he returned. Naitad ashakam vijanatam yat etadakshamiti. He came back and said, I don't know what this is. This is the first time in my life I can blow off the whole earth. He gave me a blade of grass and I can't blow it. So who is this? What being is this? I don't understand. Now the next step. Atendram abruvan. Then they said to Indra, the Lord of the gods, who is the Lord of all the 5 senses. What are all the 5 senses? The Indriyas. Hey, come on. Huh? Huh? Panche, the 5 Indriyas, 5 organs of perception. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, touch. The Lord of all this is Indra. Because of the senses, we live on this earth. If we had no these senses, we won't be living on this earth. So he is the Lord of all gods. The God of sight, the God of everything operates through Indra. Indra is the Lord of the Panchendriyas. Therefore he is called the chief. Atindram abruvan. They said to Indra, Amagavan, etad vijanihi kim etad ikshamiti. He said, Tatheti. He said, okay, now I'll go. Now something very peculiar happened. What happened? Tad abhyadravat. He hastened towards. Tasmat tirodate. He couldn't see anything. He hastened towards it, saying, now I will find out. When he reached there was nothing to be seen. Which means that the 5 senses cannot see it, apprehend it. Other energies tried, at least they saw something, and they came back. They couldn't do much. Indriya could not see anything. So he came back and said, I don't know, I just went there, but there's nothing there. Therefore it goes back to the first few verses of the Kena Upanishad. Yat chakshusha na pashyati, yana chakshumshi pashyati, tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. That which the eye cannot see, because of which the eye has the capacity to see, that alone is the Supreme Brahman, nothing that you worship here. Now the eye cannot see. Now eye is part of the senses, right? So Indra couldn't see what was there. Others at least felt something. Indra came back, I cannot see it. And I cannot find out what spirit it is. Well, how can you find out if you can't see? Then what happens? Suddenly from all these abstract things, something concrete emerges. This is Upanishad. And what is this concrete? And that concrete happens to be what is concrete for most men. When in the same region of the sky, Tasmin eva akashe, the same of the sky, Indra suddenly saw, the senses can see this. They can't see the Brahman, but this they can see. What did Indra see? A lady. He couldn't see the Brahman, but he could see the lady. Atindriyam abhruvan, that's all over. Sa tasmin ekakash, evakasha, in the same area of the sky, he saw striyam, a lady. Ajagama bahushobha manam umam haimavatim tam ho vacha kim etadyakshamiti. He suddenly saw Parvati, the daughter of the Himalayas. Here is measured to as Uma. If we put Om in the reverse, it's Om and Uma. So he saw the other side, the lady. That's why the Saundari Lahiri starts with Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yati. Both are together in this game. So he saw this lady, Bahushobha Manam, very, very beautiful. And daughter of Himavat. Umam Haimavatim. Uma, the daughter of Himalayas, was standing there. So Himalayas is also important. Because even the gods found the Brahman in the Himalayas through Uma, the daughter of the Himalayas, the snow-clad mountains. And then when they saw her, they asked her. No, then Indra saw first. Indra is the five senses, right? They are the first to see wherever there is a lady. So he saw her. And he said, he asked her, Kim etad yakshamiti? Who is this spirit with? We are confused. We don't know who this is. We are totally confused. She replied, next session.